Hi guys, welcome to another episode of If You Like This, Try This book recommendations video. So I've done a couple of these in the past, and so hopefully you guys already know that I just put these together knowing that one book doesn't always equal another. Remember that you can always take the book recommendations backwards if you so choose, and the whole point is to just see if we can find you another great science fiction read. Let's start with today's recommendations. So to begin, I want to start off with a fun one. Now, the first book on this list is going to be one of John Scalzi's first ones, and that is Agent of the Stars. This book, if you really enjoyed this vibe, I think you would really love Roadkill by Dennis E. Taylor. These books both have that fun, tongue-in-cheek, don't take themselves too seriously vibes that were really easy reads and yet a super fun time. So definitely check out Dennis Taylor if you haven't already. And if you are already a fan of his work, maybe check out some of John Scalzi's early stuff. Next on this list is going to be a very well-known young adult book, and that is Brandon Sanderson's Skyward series. Now, I believe this one has 4 total books already, and if you love that young adult but science fiction vibe with the struggle and teenagers saving the universe, then you've got to check out Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff's Aurora Rising series. This one is actually a trilogy, and these books have very similar vibes to the Brandon Sanderson ones, and I think it would be an equivalent read for anyone of the Sandersons fans who loves that Skyward vibe. Go check out Aurora Rising. Next, we have the book World War Z by Max Brooks. Now, I understand this is not the movie, okay? We're just gonna forget that exists for right now. The book was structured very uniquely, and if you are somebody who loves the way that that book was put together and the slow reveal that is that story, you might really enjoy Robopocalypse. This book was also a slow reveal of how the robots took over the human race. And it was structured the same way that World War Z was, and it was just as fun. I still think that I a little bit prefer World War Z, but you should still check out Robopocalypse if you're in the mood for robots to take over your world. Next, we have a book that I don't really talk about on my channel, but who has massive followings, and that is Stephen King's Under the Dome. Now, I think this book is less popular with genre fans, but the TV show was mighty big following, and I feel like if you enjoyed that Stephen King daily slice of life with little tiny mystery kind of vibe, then you would really enjoy the book Blind Lake by Robert Charles Wilson. So it is the name of the city in which a lot of very intricate, tiny little mysteries begin to start adding up to a large mystery that you have to solve at the end of the book. This one very much reminded me of Under the Dome, but is probably about 1,000 pages less. So definitely one to check out if you enjoy that vibe. Next on this list is going to be a fan favorite, and that is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. If you loved the fantastic slow apocalypse where there's not zombies and there's not a world that is feeling so depressed, despite it being a post-apocalyptic world, people are coming to terms with things, and it is almost a cozy sci-fi post-apocalyptic book, if that exists, you might really enjoy an oldie but a goodie, The Postman by David Brin. This one is also a post-apocalyptic world, but has that cozy, feel-good vibe that you may really be missing from Emily St. John Mandel's Station 11. So these two books have a lot of themes in common, and I do think that fans of one will really enjoy the other. The next one on this list is going to be Mickey 7. Now, I know this one is just a fun sci-fi popcorn read that I was really surprised with how well the prose had me hooked. I loved the mystery. I loved the idea of a soldier put into multiple bodies as we go through this exploration. And yet, it was even more one-upped in the book Rubicon by J.S. Dews. This one has that exact same premise, sort of, but it's in the military, and the military are using this idea of multiple bodies to resurrect their soldiers to fight what seems like an unwinnable war against the alien invading army. And this book had quite a punch, especially that ending. I mean, I really hope that we get a second one, but oh my gosh, this book, I was on the edge of my seat. So if you enjoyed Mickey 7, you have got to pick up Rubicon. Next on the list is one that I don't recommend too often, and that is the cyberpunk classic Altered Carbon. Now, I could also insert here Neuromancer, although I didn't really get along with the Neuromancer. But for those of you out there who love that classic cyberpunk vibe, a book that you have got to check out is a very not talked about classic cyberpunk book called When Gravity Fails. This cyberpunk classic was really unique because the premise of this story is definitely still that gritty underbelly of a world that is a dystopia, and yet we still get some very significant changes in the world building. For example, Muslims have taken over the world, but there is still a bunch of crime happening. It is a very interesting vibe of a book, and one that you should definitely not miss if you're a big cyberpunk fan. Then we have fans of The Expanse. And yes, I know it's a hard book comparison because there's 9 books and they are really intriguing. Plus they have that incredible TV series. But we have to say that they really set the standard for those space opera fans with a little bit of politics, a little bit of aliens, and a little bit of accessibility. And so if that's what you're looking for, go no further than picking up Patrick Tomlinson's In the Black. This book seems like it's going to be the start of a fantastic series, although it is somehow just a standalone. It has so much packed into this little tiny book of all of the politics of the space opera, the scope, the religion, the aliens. It goes on. And this book really, really impressed me. I really hope that this author also gets to come out with a book 2 and more, because I am really looking forward to seeing where this world goes and what more is happening in here. Maybe we can get a 9-book series out of Patrick Tomlinson. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Moving on to the last recommendation I have, and this is one of the classics of science fiction, Greg Bear's Blood Music. Now this book is a classic and it's very hard to compare because it does a lot of really interesting things. There's a lot of mystery and genetic splicing, and it's almost a little tiny bit of horror in this book. And I would almost say that it is equivalent, not the same, but equal on par with the prose of the book that I read recently called Man Plus by Frederick Pohl. This book also deals with genetic manipulation and the transformation of humans into something that may be able to live on Mars. There is a lot of mystery. There's almost a tiny little element of body horror in this book, and I really feel like fans of Blood Music should definitely check out Man Plus. And that does it for our sci-fi. If you like this, try this recommendations today. Don't worry, there's gonna be more videos coming at you soon. And until next time, you guys, see ya in the next video.